royalty fees to AARP. AARP is not an insurer and does not employ or endorse agents, producers, or brokers. AARP encourages you to consider your needs when selecting products and does not make product recommendations for individuals.
Warmer weather is here, but so are insects that sting. Hi, Doug Chamberlain with the Samaritan Ministries Family Health Checkup. With warmer weather comes the exposure to insects that sting. If you suffer from severe allergies to stings, you know what the symptoms are. But if you happen to be out and someone you know is stung, it's important to know what to look for, and that symptoms can occur within minutes, including hives, tightness in the chest, difficulty breathing, dizziness, nausea, swelling in the tongue or throat, and even more serious symptoms. For minor reactions, remove the stinger, then hold ice on the area with a washcloth. An antihistamine might help as well. But for more serious stings, head to an emergency room promptly if an EpiPen is not available. Enjoy the outdoors knowing that you'll be prepared and informed should a sting occur. For more, visit us on Facebook or at familyhealthcheckup.org.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, WVLQ Port St. Joe.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's the next evolution of sports talk radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got to bat.
the Inside Drive. From college to the pros, interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And good morning. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. As always, listening live and local on 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 along the Forgotten Coast. And you can always watch us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Just search ESPN Northwest Florida. Make sure you click that subscribe, like, follow, get notifications when we come online button and all that good stuff. Jay, beautiful day out there.
It is
toasty. There's no doubt about that. It is the humidity is up, but the good news is for this fishing tournament, this little tiny fishing tournament that we got going on this week, the waves have really subsided, and it certainly looks like it's going to be great seas to hopefully bring in one of those monster blue marlins. But as always, sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios, you can check them out over there at 2251 West 23rd Street. We had one of the beautiful, I forget which type of truck it was, but it was one of the Z71s. It's out there on number 2 today, hole-in-one. Beautiful truck. The screen's almost like an IMAX in there is what I told Chris this morning, and beautiful truck out there. So make sure you go check them out for all your vehicle needs, and of course they always sell tires at cost. And then if you are boating, if you're boating this weekend in the Billfish tournament, obviously hopefully your boat's ready to go and all that good stuff, because I don't think there's a lot of time to get that figured out. But if you're just heading out to Shell Island or doing something fun, you need to get that boat back out on the water, make sure you check out Kramer Marine and Outdoor. Same address there, 2251 West 23rd Street. They're a Yamaha outboard full-line dealer, Yamaha master certified mechanics on staff, as well as Suzuki outboard dealer as well, selling Seabourn, Spider, and Sundance boats, all part of that CRI family. You can visit their new and used inventory at KramerMarineandOutdoor.com. It's here, Jay.
It is. I tell you what, I'm loving that Billfish Open shirt you got going on.
Absolutely,
there,
yeah. We kind of threw everybody for a loop this morning in the golf tournament. Myself, Bill, Linda as well, and Gavin. We're all wearing fishing shirts and our hats. If you can see David Hayes behind the glass, he looks like he is ready to head out on a boat as we speak. He is looking awesome. But unfortunately, I couldn't figure out how to get my headphones on and put this hat on, so I've got to.
Still a bit of a struggle back here.
Yeah, the struggle is real for sure. You can't do both at the same time. But awesome. Just, we got some merch there in the Bay Point Golf Shop. But there's going to be tons of merchandise starting this afternoon as well. Everything gets kicked off. It's here. We've been talking about it for 2 months. all sorts of good stuff. People are texting me secrets of the Billfish tournament, and what I was talking about before the air has been confirmed.
Oh,
it has been confirmed.
All right.
So we'll keep that on the DL. That's for sure.
Yikes!
I'm getting some serious trouble if we start mentioning stuff like that. Yeah. However, the Bay Point Golf Scramble got kicked off early this morning, and it was funny because American Charlie's was the beverage sponsor, and they did a $2,000 beverage sponsor, and I was telling everybody about it, and a lot of people were waiting until they got out on the course. Well, they blew through that tab before we even teed off on the golf course this morning. So people that were out there playing were like, "What happened?" I said, "Oh man, we should have just done drink tickets or something." But appreciate American Charlie's doing that sponsorship there for the golf tournament, the beverages. So, but I don't know how you could do it on a day like today. It is hot and it is humid. I think if I drank 1 or 2 beers, I would be probably done for the rest of the day.
And nap time.
Yeah, definitely need to recover. That's for sure. No rest for the weary. But again, the Bay Point Golf Scramble for the Billfish Open got underway this morning at 8:30. They're out there sweating, having fun, playing some good golf. The golf course, man, is in fantastic shape. We got caught up from all the rain, got the mowing caught. I mean, it just looks clean and beautiful out there this morning. So kudos to Dustin, Scott, JD, Terry, Carl, our whole crew out there just doing a wonderful job providing a great product for all of our golfers to enjoy.
And then on top of it, setting up the, help with the Billfish on top of all that.
They've been doing a lot of good stuff. Yeah. It's a full team effort out there, that is for sure. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you see everybody out there, their golf cart passes, people are buying drink tickets ahead of time, the stage is set up. It's just, the buzz is certainly there, and there's not even any people inside the gates yet.
Right.
So I'm excited to come out tonight and check out the tournament kickoff dock walk and party, and then the first act starts at 7:30. The second act, I want to say, is at 9:15, and then the super surprise special act is at 10:15. So it's gonna be a long night for us. We're not used to staying up late, but we can't miss the tournament dock walk and party for the first Billfish since, I want to say, 2011 or 12.
Right.
So should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. Again, the public is invited to come out to that tournament kickoff dock walk. There's parking when you come into Bay Point. There's signs everywhere. They direct you to the various lots, different parking lots, different prices. There'll be shuttles running. There'll be the trolley will be running around picking people up. So it's everybody remembers the Billfish from many years ago and how big of an awesome event it was. I think we're picking up right where we left off, if not maybe making it a little bit better. So kudos to Mr. Warren, George Roberts, Jay Quave, and Scott Rossman, who have brought this thing back to life in conjunction with St. Joe and the Point South Bay Point Marina as well. I saw Justin this morning, and it's his first year working at the marina, and why not have a Billfish tournament in your first year? So
no sleep for him this week.
He's doing a fantastic job, and caffeine and adrenaline, it goes a long way.
It does.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And then you also don't want to miss, starting tomorrow 9 a.m. What happens, Jay?
9 a.m. Oh, it's the boat parade out to the Gulf.
The boat parade out to the Gulf. 10 a.m. That flare will shoot off. It'll signify the start of the Bay Point Billfish Open. Everybody be heading out to the Gulf, and then we got another concert on tomorrow night, 7:30, and then Friday. That's when you want to come out. Everything's happening in the evening for the public. So tomorrow you got the concert beginning at 7:30, and then Friday the tournament scales will open 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Everybody, whoever got a big fish so far, will be bringing it in and putting it up on the big scale, and everybody will be excited to check that out. And then your next concert will be at 7:30 on Friday night, and then Saturday, last but not least, the last weigh-in will be from 4 to 8 p.m. out there at the Point South Bay Point Marina. Bringing those in, all culminated by the 10:30 in the morning awards ceremony. So a lot of awesome stuff going on with that. I know, Jay, you're excited to be out there and see everything that's going on. And I want to touch on our hours of operation as well. Obviously we have the golf tournament this morning. We do have a few tee times that have been booked this afternoon, and then later on this afternoon as well. The driving range is actually closed now. It's going to be closed now through Saturday. It'll reopen normal time on Sunday morning because there will be some golf cart parking going on the practice facility. So, that stuff, so if you want to come out, obviously lots of different parking lots. We have tee times open from 6 a.m. I'm not saying we have open tee times. We have a lot of tee times booked between the hours of 6 a.m. and 3 p.m. The golf course, our last tee time will go out there right before 3 p.m. So if you're looking to book a tee time, you can give us a call in the golf shop, or you can go on our website, baypointgolfclub.com. We're running that same 6 a.m. through 3 p.m. all the way through Saturday. Sunday will be normal day. Everything's back to open. Bar 72 is open like normal for lunch every day from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have breakfast available 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. One of the things, too, we've got lots of to-go options. We've got some wraps, some sandwiches, some salads that are to-go based on availability each day. And people can, walking around can come grab some. Obviously, inside the Bay Point Billfish each night, too, there's vendors set up selling food and drinks and all that good stuff. But we're also open, and we'll be open into the evening selling drinks as the big business dictates. So if we're not getting a lot of action from the Billfish, we may not be open. So just come out and hang out with us and eat some lunch and drink some drinks and have a good time.
Oh yeah,
should be a lot of fun. That is for sure. Yesterday was a good time talking with BLJ.
Yep.
And I kind of went back yesterday evening and kind of re-listened to some of the stuff, because one of the things that really stuck with me was the focus side of things.
Yeah.
And how he was talking about being a closer and how you focus for a short period of time versus a starting pitcher. You got to go in and out of that focus, and the correlation to golf on that one. And
right.
What are some of the things you do, Jay? Not to put you on the spot, but when you always say, when you're out there playing golf, you're in the zone, you're focused. So is that just kind of something that's come because you've been playing so much golf, or is there something you kind of do to kind of get into that zone when you're playing? Because there's so many outside distractions when you're playing golf.
There are, and it's hard to focus on a lot of things, but it's just when golf, I tend to focus a lot more. Obviously, I guess because it's kind of my passion and kind of what I like to do, obviously. So if you have your passion, you're typically more focused, when you're out doing it. But no, it's just get in a groove. I think less is more, obviously. The less you can think about, the more you can be an athlete, the better you're going to perform.
You just let your muscle memory and your subconscious do the work. That's for sure.
I mean, I didn't study for a lot of tests growing up, so I didn't prepare in there, and those C's and D's actually kind of, work with that.
Yeah,
so,
but C's get degrees.
Yeah, there you go. But if you prepare, the older I've gotten, the more I realize that if you prepare, like practice and prepare, you're going to be more confident when you get out and play golf. So it's, just practice and prepare. Yeah.
And I believe we do have a caller on the line. I'll let you bring that caller in, Jay.
Who do we have on the line here?
It's your dad.
Yes, this is good. How you doing, Pops? I can't get you to call any time other than when I'm on the radio. But good to hear from you.
I heard some rumors you may have a good story for us, Mr. Henley. We'd love to hear it.
I think it's good. It's funny, I think.
That's kind of our MO here on the Inside Drive, mainly because of your son, which we appreciate.
Yeah. So when you guys get ready for this, let me know.
Well, we're sitting on go. You just let it fire, and we'll digest it after you go through it.
Pops, we have been talking a little baseball. It was kind of cool. We had a Cubs closer in the studio yesterday, Jay. His name's Jay as well. But so we've been talking a little bit of baseball and golf, and so you kind of can relate to that. Big part of my life, obviously, with baseball and golf. But go ahead. Can't wait to hear this one.
So let me go ahead and set Jay up here. Jay, you remember Hiwassee, Georgia?
Vaguely, yeah.
No, it wasn't Hiwassee. It was Helen, Georgia. I'm sorry. Helen.
Yeah, Helen. Yes. Okay. I kind of figured this was going. Keep going, Pops.
Okay. So Will and I, his little brother, younger brother. So Jay is in the 9th grade. He's in a high school golf tournament, and he's all amped up. It's cold. It's sleeting. Not too good of weather, but anyway, cleared up. And Will and I were walking with him. Of course, he was paired up with 2 other guys, as I recall. I don't recall their name. So we, get through, 8 holes. Jay's doing okay. So ninth tee box. So we're standing there behind him, and of course Jay just rips one off in the woods, deep.
This is mountain golf, by the way. This is
right. Well. Anyway, long story short, try to make it short. So Will and I, start walking down because we want to help him try to find the ball. And of course, he locates it somewhere deep in the woods, and so all we hear is whoosh, and we don't see a ball. We don't even see Jay, and so he's laying 3 now. So we hear it again, as I recall, and we still don't see a ball or Jay, so he's laying 4. So anyway, so Will and I just decided to go ahead and start walking towards the clubhouse. And we get to the clubhouse, and we sit, we wait, we're having some lunch. And so we hear on the scoreboard, or we hear on the walkie-talkies or whatever, the radios, they start calling. Of course, we see them finish up on ninth grade. So they start calling out scores. And I don't recall the other two guys' names, but they call out, I'm just going to say, Smith, 6, Jones, 7, Henley, 13. And the guy goes, the lady goes, "Excuse me, could you repeat that, please? Did I hear that correct? 13?" And the guy says, "Yes, that's correct." So me and Will's like, "Well, time to go home." So anyway, it was hilarious. You had to be there. But me and Will, I think we basically crawled to the car at that point. But anyway,
yeah, that was a defining moment. Ninth grade. Yeah, it was sleeting, snowing. The conditions were horrible, and I scored 13 on a par 4. That was definitely memorable for sure.
It was a monumental moment, guys. I just thought I'd share that with you. And by the way, his golfing skills has improved a bit.
Yeah,
anyway.
Definitely. And those moments, they either define you or they knock you down a little bit. And heck, I was playing in the Alabama Northwest Florida Section Championship many years ago, a couple years after I started at Bay Point, and we were playing at the Raven. And I made I want to say it was a 13 on the 17th hole. It's a par 5. And then on the next hole, I birdied 18. So it's just, they're in there. They're in there. Hopefully they don't come out. It's so easy to make ninth grade. I mean, what a time to be alive for you.
No kidding, man.
That's awesome.
Kidding. Yeah.
That's awesome. Any more good stories you got out there while we got you on the line?
Well, we won't go too deep, but I will say that same day on number 1 tee box, again, Will and I were standing there, and he hits it, and right into the water on the left side. And so, I felt so bad for him because it was cold. I think he had been up all night running with the boys or whatever they were doing in the hotel room. But anyway,
yeah, this is true.
It's just one of those moments that define you as a dad. But I tell you what, I am proud of you, bud. You've done good. You've turned out to be very. I'm proud of you. Let's put it that way.
Well, I appreciate it. It's because of you. I mean, it really is. So, thank you.
Got any good baseball moments? Any good baseball stories we'd like to hear? He was talking about his elbow going to the plate yesterday. So
it's so funny. I was talking to Jay yesterday, Chapman, and it's so funny that memory came back to me when and I don't know if you remember the guy's name, Dad, but you brought him in.
Wayne Bird.
Wayne Bird. Okay, so he pitched at Georgia Southern. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So he tells me, and I'm sitting here 30-something years later, telling a professional baseball player that I remember him telling me to point my left elbow at at my target, and for some reason that season I had a really good pitching season just because of that one little tip. So yeah.
I will say this about baseball. Ryan, I appreciate you giving Jay the opportunity to, have a radio personality with you.
Oh, yeah. He brings the personality. There's no doubt about that. The Riz, right? The charisma. The Riz.
The Riz.
Well, let me say this. I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time.
No, you're good.
So Jay was, again, I told that story as humor, but Jay was in Effingham County when he was 9 years old, Jay.
Yeah,
he was really the talk of the county because everybody thought that he could go pro because he was striking out everybody. I mean, it was 3 strikes and sit down. I mean, he didn't know how to throw a ball as far as outside the plate. And, he was the talk of Effingham County. And we moved away from there. But anyway, long story short, he dominated kids that was, twice his age, except for one kid. You remember Brett Bennett, Jay?
Yeah.
So Jay throws a fastball to Brett Bennett. This kid was, huge to be like 10 years old. And I don't think that ball has landed yet.
Yeah.
Last time I saw it, it was still gaining altitude as it went over the fence. But anyway, that was about the only time they ever saw, anybody really take him deep. But he took him deep.
Dad, the ironic story about that was All-Stars game. And that whole season I had struck everybody out. So the whole family, I'm talking aunts, uncles, cousins, the whole family ends up at this All-Star game.
Yeah.
They put me in against Brett Bennett, who's another Effingham County, player. And the first pitch I throw to him, it goes over the left field net into a used car lot. Yeah, I mean, it does. I totally remember it. Yeah. I'm like, and so it was just so devastating as a 10-year-old because I had family that had traveled 200 miles plus, and it was a humbling experience. Let's call it that.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, I don't want to take up too much of your time. But anyway, thanks, Ryan. Appreciate you guys. I listen in whenever I can, and I appreciate you giving Jay the opportunity, and you guys keep up the good work, brother.
We appreciate it. Now, when Jay reached out and we found out he wanted to come back down here to teach some golf down in Panama City Beach, we were like, how quickly can you be down here? Because we love Jay. He does such a wonderful job, especially growing the game of golf, and the passion he has for it bleeds through to all the people he works with. So we're definitely the blessed ones to have him part of our team, and then to be able to talk sports with him occasionally. We talk a lot of other stuff is a blast. And I look forward to meeting you at some point, that's for sure.
All right. You guys have a good day. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Love you, Pops.
See ya.
And that's a good thing. Tell your dad and your mom, if they're still here, that you love them.
You got that
you just don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, with everything going on, especially around here with the beaches and the craziness, and
I know.
If you haven't called your dad, called your mom in a long time, give them a call. Tell them you love them.
Right.
You don't know when you might not be able to do that again.
That's right.
You are listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. When we get back, we're finally going to recap the College World Series that ended 2 nights ago. You are listening to the Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents The Blast at Bay Point. Listen to Win Your Tee Time at the legendary Bay Point Golf Club in beautiful Panama City Beach.
You ready to play some high-low?
I'm going to try.
Listen weekdays at 8:40, 12:40, and 5:40 to play high-low for a chance to win 18 holes at Bay Point Golf Club.
I tell you what, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to love it.
Listen to Win the Blast at Bay Point from ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Wednesday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, sunshine and a high of 89 with a moderate breeze at 15 miles per hour out of the west-southwest. For tonight, clear skies with a light breeze at a low near 80. Tomorrow, a wind 5 to 10 miles per hour, mostly sunny and a high around 92. For Friday, mostly sunshine and a high of 91. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Back to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
It's alive! What's alive? We're alive!
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. Do not forget, we gave away a winner. We had a winner yesterday, Mr. Drew. I don't know his last name, but Mr. Drew, he played the game right. We got 5 more weeks of the Blast at Bay Point coming up, presented by ESPN Northwest Florida. It starts every Monday on the Coach James Hale Show at 8:40. The 10th caller in that break will have a chance to play high-low. This past week, it was my score from this past weekend in golf, and Mr. Drew got it right at 72, but he played the game right. He heard the 74. I think he called in the afternoon and said 73, and then he was kind of sitting on go, I think, for our show, and then called in and nailed that number. So not only do you want to just call in and try to guess the number correctly, you got to pay attention to all 3 of our shows, because it's going to give you a better opportunity to know what that high-low number is. But again, that'll be our second high-low prize winner contest. We'll start next week. Again, that gets yourself a round of golf for you and a friend right there at Bay Point Golf Club, and that'll get kicked off Monday next week.
Cool.
Hard to believe it's 4th of July week next week already. We got Billfish this week, 4th of July next week, and then school will be starting in a day or so, it feels like. But College World Series, Jay.
Yes.
Obviously, everybody picked who they thought were going to win, and I think it was on last Friday. Last Friday we were picking that. I know you picked LSU. Somebody was in studio. I know David picked LSU as well, but I swear there was somebody in studio with us last Friday. Just the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Hey, your presence made it feel like more than just you. So, and then I, of course, picked Florida. But what are your thoughts on the whole series? Really close game in that first one. LSU takes the dub in the bottom of the 11th off the home run that may not have landed. It was just ripped. Yeah. And then the second game, Florida just absolutely pummels LSU, gets the bats going hot, 24-4, and then kind of the polar opposite in the final game. They didn't even have to bring in their ace Skeens either, which was crazy. I mean, that's exactly what LSU wanted to do. Wanted to get off to a hot start, kind of force Florida to play catch up, and then if they had to, bring in Skeens to close the deal. But then they got a great, I forget the pitcher's name, but they got a great outing from their starting pitcher.
They did.
And they just got up ahead, and so much momentum driven. But what are your thoughts on the whole series?
Momentum driven is exactly what I was thinking about too, Ryan. I mean, 24-4, I think was the game 2 score, and I just knew that the Florida bats were just going to get cold, and it just always happens. It's almost like if you get to a 7-8 run lead, bring in some of your third tier guys and just kind of keep it close. I mean, but I was vested in the game through about the 5th or 6th inning, and then once LSU kind of blew it apart in the 6th inning, I think it got to 12-2 in the 6th inning, and I just started flipping around. It's
in college baseball. It's so hard to come back from that kind of stuff. I mean, you're down 3 or 4 runs, you got a shot because you can just explode in one inning. But and you saw it flip the script both times. And congratulations to LSU on winning their national championship there, which is kind of a trend over there at LSU right now. I had that yesterday, but I'll mention it today. That was the second year for Jay Johnson, won the national championship, and then Kim, I think it's Mulkey, she won her national championship at LSU this past year in women's college basketball on her second year. Now, she's won national championships at other places and all that stuff. So that leads me to, guess whose year it is for year number 2 for football?
Who would be?
Brian Kelly.
Oh, yes.
Coach of the Tigers.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do anything mean on that one. I didn't know if Jay honestly knew who the coach was. So.
No, I didn't.
Hey, you got him.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yep. Yeah, so does Brian Kelly win a national championship in year number 2 and follow that trend?
Let's see. I don't know. I mean, he can do it. There's no doubt about it. If anybody else cannot do it or can do it, he can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good old former fighting Irish guy.
I was trying to get old Mike Ferguson on the line. I was texting with him the other 2 nights ago. Whenever LSU won, he played in he played LSU baseball and batted 4th for them from 1992 to 95.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I was like, man, congratulations to your LSU Tigers. It looks like you guys are going to win. And I was like, man, love to have you bring your thoughts onto the air. But he travels the country so much. He was on a plane the other day. But hopefully, I can get Fergie to call in. I call him Fergie. He's a character, man. So
now, was he on? I know LSU. I think that was their 7th national championship in baseball. Was he? I'll take a peek real quick. They won in 91, 93, and 96.
Yeah, he was.
So if he was, yeah, he would have
was
won.
There, and he was a home run hitter, and I was giving him lessons a couple years ago. And man, talk about the baseball player that has the long ball potential. Man, even at 45, 50 years old, he still rips at it, man. I mean, he still goes at it like a like 350 yards. So I'm like, you got to calm it down, Fergie. You got to calm it down.
Hey, that's like we were talking about with Jay yesterday. I mean, the pitching motion, it's whether you're throwing a breaking ball, a changeup, a slider, a curve, whatever it means, your body is moving 100% to throw that. Obviously, your delivery changes what kind of ball you're throwing. And that's hard to get away from when you work that hard to get that kind of repetitive muscle memory in other sports where you have that same rotational thing going on, not to just fire on all cylinders.
Right.
That's why, I played hockey growing up too, in addition to golf, and that's why I feel like, I desperately try so hard to slow down, but sometimes it's just really hard. And it's the same thing with hockey. I mean, you got the club back and you're firing as fast as you can to generate as much speed.
Yeah.
In golf, that's not necessarily great because if you fire from the wrong spot. Now, hockey, you're going here. You're not going any further than that because your hands are separated. So golf, your hands are together, obviously. So in hockey, you're pulling from you stop your motion. You're pulling and going hard. In golf, you're not wanting to pull hard from the top because, as you know, we throw it out and then cast it, and then I hit that big bender to the right, which I hate. So it's that transitional, that we talk about all the time, that you got to find that honey hole.
If you think, we talk about Glavin Smoltz and those guys here on the show a lot.
Glavin can hit the piss out of the ball.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like 6 feet high.
But what's your thoughts on that, though? Because, when you're pitching, your hips and chest are moving directly to the target, but you're holding on to that lag with your right arm. And I think that's so, true in golf.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's why these pitchers are so good in ball striking, because they already create lag with their right arm.
Yeah, and for most amateur golfers, creating lag is very, very difficult.
It is.
Because it's not a natural kind of thing. So, yeah, and even Jay said it. His one thought is just compress the ball.
Yep.
You can't compress the ball without lag.
That's right.
So, and lag is so hard to teach. But yeah, that's probably a great correlation on a reason why pitchers are such good golfers as well, because they naturally know how to create lag, and then they got enough hand-eye coordination to get that club square at impact, and can kind of feel what their club face is doing. But cool stuff. But yeah, congratulations to the LSU Tigers. Paul Skeens was named on the all-tournament team for the College World Series. Paul Skeens was the most outstanding player, and then you had BT Riopelle, maybe just Riopelle, he from Florida, Trey Morgan from LSU, Gavin Dugas from LSU, Tommy White, obviously Tommy Tanks from LSU, Josh Riviera from Florida, Dylan Cruz from LSU, Ty Evans from Florida, Wyatt Langford from Florida, Cade Belloso from LSU, and then Ty Floyd rounded out that all-tournament team. And then the men's, the college player, most outstanding player in the College World Series was pitcher Paul Skeens. Sorry, I got it mixed up with Cruz. Okay. But he was the what do they call that? The most outstanding player for the College World Series.
I have so many questions.
I have maybe a couple answers.
It's just all right. So take for instance this LSU team. They just won the national championship.
Yep.
Now we have NIL involved. Like this NIL. If you look, does that increase their NIL salary?
It's all, there's so many, there's collectives, there's individual agreements, but it's certainly kids that are still going to be on the team next year. Absolutely, is it going to help their NIL value because they're more notable players now. Obviously, Paul Skeens probably going to be drafted potentially number 1 in the MLB draft, so I think he's moving on. But some of these guys that made, I don't know if Tommy Tanks is, if he's going to play, but these guys that made such big names for themselves, obviously that's going to help their because it's social media world.
Yeah.
So everybody, the more your name is out there and the more people can find you and you have a marketing arm, the NIL folk really want them to get going. But there's a lot of different individual NIL agreements, so I think it's kind of to each his own at this point. I know the NCAA came out with something yesterday or the day before talking about NIL. I'd have to look that up and see. But
yeah, I know it's new to a lot of us, it seems like. I guess all this kind of kicked off around COVID, it seemed. Maybe 2020?
Yeah, kind of shortly after that.
There were some states that just, 3 or 4 led the charge, I think, and then everybody else kind of followed suit after that. But,
yeah, no, Alabama, I think, was one of the first ones to get after it, because I was listening to David yesterday talking to the former UAB center and how he was talking about how, the NIL actually really benefited their team. And they were one of the early on, I think is what he said, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying to read real quick about this NIL thing, but yeah, no, I mean, I certainly think that is definitely not going to help. And then also congratulations to Dylan Cruz. He was the 2023 Golden Spikes Award winner, which the Golden Spikes Award winner goes to people who have obviously played really good baseball, but do a good job on and off the field as well. So congratulations, LSU, bringing in tons of hardware after this College World Series. You know, he was the second player in LSU history, joining Ben McDonald, who won the award back in 1989. 10th winner from the Southeastern Conference,
nice.
Which of course surpasses the Pac-12 for the most of all time.
Which is still kind of wild, though, because of what the Pac-12 has done in the past.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
good for the SEC.
Yeah, no doubt. And even, in Texas last year, Ivan Melendez was the Golden Spikes winner from Texas, Big 12, but soon to be SEC, as you know, Jay.
Yep.
And then Kevin Kopps from Arkansas, Adley Rutschman from Oregon State, the Beavers up there, Andrew Vaughn from California, Brendan McKay from Louisville, and then in 2016 you had Kyle Lewis from the Mercer Bears, which is pretty cool.
You know what Ivan Melendez's nickname was?
No.
The Hispanic Titanic.
Oh, what a good nickname. Throwing sinker balls? He had the
sinker balls.
He had the sinker down pat.
That's right.
Sure. But good stuff coming out. And then, of course, the most outstanding player is mainly been pitchers over the years. I'll just go back. Obviously, Paul Skeens, pitcher from LSU. Last year, it was Dylan DeLuca from Ole Miss who won the most outstanding player in the College World Series. And then prior to that was Will Bednar from Mississippi State. 2020, there was no tournament because of the COVID. And then Vanderbilt pitcher Kumar Rocker in 2019. And then 2018 was the last year. It was a non-pitcher. That was a catcher, Adley Rutschman from Oregon State. 2017, Alex Fado from Florida. My boy Andrew Beckwith in 2016 from Coastal Carolina University. He was half the reason. Today is the anniversary. Today was the day they won Game 3 against Arizona.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Fun fact.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you, Facebook memories.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And what was crazy about this, if I remember it correctly, they were supposed to play, the third game was supposed to be a night game, and it got weather delayed out, and they never could get it, so it got pushed to like 1 o'clock game the following day, which I want to say was on a Tuesday. Okay. I'd have to go back and look. So all this excitement, you talk about focus and all that stuff. Yeah, all this excitement. You're about to play Game 3 for your chance, maybe for your only national championship in school history, which still could end up being that. They may get another one in baseball at some point, but yeah, and then it gets gets weather delayed out, so you have to kick it to the next day. So you have to start all over again. And, they still ended up getting it done on, I forget the first baseman's name, but he hit a homer in like the second or third inning. It just kind of got him kick-started, and then they closed it. And it was exciting. So pitcher from Coastal Carolina in 2016. 2015, you had Josh Sorbs from Virginia. And then Dansby Swanson, who we all know, he played at Vanderbilt. He was a shortstop who won the most outstanding player in the College World Series back in 2014. But obviously, kind of a weird looking at this list. It's really been in the last, going back to 2014, you've only had 2 non-pitchers win it. But then from, it looks like we'll call it from 2000 to 2013, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 non-pitchers win it.
Nice.
What do you think the difference is there, Jay?
I don't know. I mean, obviously these guys had to have batted over, around 500 for the series. I mean, you would think. Couple of home runs, whatever it may be. The most valuable player, it could be anybody that, I don't know. Like maybe called a winning.
Yeah, a lot of factors go into it, but it's crazy how like the last 10 years it's been dominated by pitchers, and then the 10 years before that it's kind of been all sorts of positions, outfielders, third basemen, which, like you said, most likely has to do with hitting. So, college sports is pretty much wrapped up now at this point, and
I did see where they were like the most viewed. This College World Series was the most viewed in many years, and that was like a huge difference between last year. I mean. 2.3 million. I think it's 2.3 million.
Nice.
Viewers. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you think that it's because it was LSU in Florida?
I think so. I mean, LSU, there's LSU and Ole Miss. I mean, Ole Miss obviously has a great baseball program, and, especially with all the MVPs, that you mentioned in previous years. But, yeah, man, had to be. LSU, Florida, SEC. I mean, that's a big rivalry right there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the College World Men's Series was the most watched men's College World Series on record.
Wow.
Through all the ESPN platforms. That's not just your cable viewership. That's your streaming and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the 16-game postseason averaged 1.65 million viewers on ESPN platforms each game. So they averaged in all 16 games, averaged 1.65 million viewers, which was a 48% increase from the 2022 College World Series.
It may have had something to do with Rocco's. What do you think?
It could be. Probably not. But
I mean,
what do you think, David? Not on the Rocco's thing, but what do you think such the huge
I think
jump
it
up?
comes down to how many players you had at the collegiate level who's going to be making the trek to Major League Baseball, especially when you get there to the final there, the final 3 games, and you've got Dylan Cruz, Paul Skeens, you've got Wyatt Langford, Jack Haglione. I mean, you got anyone who's drawing any type of comparisons to Shohei Ohtani, it's going to be record-breaking in a sense. So I think it really comes down to how much talent was there, because people who are not just SEC fans, if they're college baseball fans, if they're MLB fans and they want to see the future, they're going to be tuned into these games, especially when you got a guy like Dylan Cruz out there, because you mentioned a few of those most outstanding players, and outside of Dylan DeLucia, like not a ton of these guys are doing things at the next level.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's tough. And I forget who it was. Maybe it was Max DeLayden, but we were talking about, there's a reason why Dylan Cruz is going to go before Paul Skeens and stuff, because look at Kumar Rocker, look at Jack Leiter. Like, they anchored the Vanderbilt Commodores when they won their championship a few years ago. Look at them now. And there's still time for them. I mean, it's a tough. It's might be one of the toughest sports to get to the show in, no doubt. So, I think it's because of how good the talent was there.
Yeah, that's a great point. Makes sense. I mean, the kind of those names are what draw. You talk about NIL and all that stuff, but yeah, the final saw a record audience averaging 2.86 million viewers on ESPN and ESPNU across the 3-game series. That's up 75% from last year's finals, and I think that's exactly to the point you were saying. Last year's finals, I don't know off the top of my head what kind of MLB guys were in there who got drafted, but to be up 75%, and that viewership is just on ESPN and ESPNU, so that's just your cable viewership.
Yeah.
That's a big number for college baseball.
It is, and I remember Alan asking the question to BLJ yesterday about why is it that NBA players are coming into the game at 18, 19, but the MLBs and so I think Jay mentioned something about lesser farm teams, and that's a probability, but I just don't think there's enough action. I don't think the scouts can see enough action throughout, their time period. Let's think about a right fielder that's playing. I mean, what are you going to see that guy do, like, in a game? I mean, like, he may get a catch or two defensively that you can kind of, like, mark down on the records as far as, like, I just don't know if there's enough action in baseball versus NBA. Like, in basketball, that player's going to get the ball in his hands a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I've been actively pondering that. That's
a good one to actively ponder.
And I really like that. And I think one of the things with baseball, though, is how you carry yourself when you don't have the ball. Like, how in tune, how much attention are you paying out there in right field when the ball's not coming your way? Are you backing up the first baseman on a ball that could head down the line? Like, there's so many things that scouts are watching, in my opinion, that are not during the active gameplay, and then how's he taking his at-bats? Is he patient? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can walk 4 times in a game, but you show that patience with your eye and everything, and I think the scouts can see through a game where they're not getting a ton of action out of you.
So those scouts have to be a part of the game and watch a little bit more. There's more in depth, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I would say that. And then also, I would imagine if a scout's going down, he's not going down for just the one game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna catch at least 2 of them there, and he's gonna be in contact with your coach throughout the season.
Yeah. Absolutely. Good stuff. We do have we ran just a little bit over, just a bit outside. It's okay. The heartbreaks, the ones we really have to worry about. But you are listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents The Blast at Bay Point. Listen to Win Your Tee Time at the legendary Bay Point Golf Club in beautiful Panama City Beach.
You ready to play some high-low?
I'm going to try.
Listen weekdays at 8:40, 12:40, and 5:40 to play high-low for a chance to win 18 holes at Bay Point Golf Club.
I tell you what, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to love it.
Listen to Win the Blast at Bay Point from ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hi, I'm Tracy, your diamond girl at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Shopping for the perfect diamond can be difficult, but that's why I've trained my staff to be helpful and to offer you a stress-free diamond experience. Pick your sparkle and use our easy layaway plan. Every woman deserves an exquisite diamond from your diamond girl at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. We don't work on commissions.
We work for smiles and I-dos.
So if you're tired of high-pressure salespeople, stop by and see us today at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code STRONG for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code STRONG for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code STRONG.
The only place to get sports betting coverage on the radio. Is this legal? Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. It's the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
I got royalty inside my DNA.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. Don't forget, we've got 3 great local shows. The Coach James Hale Show every morning, Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Talking about SEC, ACC, whatever it may be with your college football world. And then, of course, us, myself, and Jay Henley on the Inside Drive and DJ Davey Crockett behind the glass every 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. We got some afternoon delight coming up here pretty soon. And then every afternoon from 4 to 6 p.m. And guess what? It's Wednesday, Jay. So what does Wednesday mean?
What does it's hump day.
It is hump day. That is true. That is a correct answer. But what does Wednesday mean for the afternoon underdogs?
Wednesday, we got Keith Fleming coming on.
That is true as well.
Okay.
That is true.
He's crushing it right now.
You keep kicking it down the road. But what do we have on Wednesdays? Or what is the afternoon underdogs?
Oh, my gosh. Dave and Buster's over afternoon underdogs.
That's right.
4 to 6.
You can't forget every...
That is correct.
Yes. See, we didn't even know that the high-low correct promo, or whatever you call that, buffer, sounder is also good for you. That's good. Now we have the one for but it says too high or too low.
Low, but we could finagle those things, man.
Yeah, absolutely. We just start playing high-low with you every day and see
playing
what happens.
high-low, it's like Ryan Seacrest is going to be the new Wheel of Fortune, going to take over.
Really?
Sajak. Yeah, Ryan Seacrest. They kind of look alike. I think Ryan's going to look a lot like Pat.
What about Vanna? Vanna's got to be like 120.
Her daughter is taking over for her. I'm not sure about that.
Oh, okay.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
I think it would be good for Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. So anyway, I got to thinking about, with you being a game contestant host, with high-low, I got to thinking about Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah.
Huh. But anyways.
He probably gets paid a little more than we do, but that's fine.
It's close.
It's close.
I was at Dollar Tree last night, and I got this little sports trivia card game or whatever, so I was figuring one day whenever we're just up against the wall, we can Quiz J.
Yes, that would be good. Hopefully it's multiple choice or true and false.
That's right. A little bit of it all, right?
Like you said.
Age is 6+. So
6+. Yeah.
I think you'll be all
right. Are you
here.
smarter than a 6-year-old? We're going to find out.
I qualify barely.
You said C's get degrees, so that's great. We're definitely going to have to do that. Maybe sometime this week or maybe next week. We'll see what. You never know. Well, we're going to pull it out when you least expect it. Okay. That's why you can't. You can't. But as we mentioned, every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m., the Afternoon Underdogs will be over there at Dave & Buster's down at Pier Park. You can enjoy half-price cocktails, half-price games, and eat some of their delicious food. Wednesdays and Sunday mornings. Those are the two biggest days to go, especially in the summertime. It's busy, but Wednesday, get out there early and enjoy those half-price. And it's all night Wednesdays, right? It's not just during happy hour
for half-price games.
Yeah,
half-price games all day Wednesday. Happy hours from 4 to 7. You get half-price drinks there.
And it's dark and cold in there too, man. You can hang meat in there, right?
Depends on where you're at in there. Like in the gaming area, it's not that dark.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's, I guess, technically dark, but there's like arcade lights everywhere,
Okay, yeah, this is true.
I kind of know what you're saying, though, but yeah, it's not 94 degrees inside Dave & Buster's.
That's right.
It says here, and I can't believe this, but it says it feels like 126. That's why I sent that to you. I'm like,
I didn't even see the feels like. I do know we are in a heat advisory, so with that being said, drink lots of water when you're outside.
Like, whoever thought of that? You need a heat advisory to know it's hot. Like, hello. Yeah. I could tell when I walked outside, it felt like I just got back in the shower.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, some people, they don't pay attention to the rules, and, maybe they need the indication to know it's hot outside. But anyway, so go check out the Afternoon Underdogs there. It'll be this afternoon, coming up Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Amanda, Kyle, everybody, they're probably continuing their Go to Goats contest as well. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that tomorrow after they move into that. You're moving into the round of 16?
Yeah, it's going to be Sweet 16. Looking at some of the numbers right now, and there's not too much surprising right now, but
please tell me Caddyshack is still dominating.
Ooh, give me a second.
Because I'm going to be disappointed in the listeners if they're not.
I know, right?
Not. But I'm going to go on there and vote like 6,000 times for Caddyshack.
Caddyshack's they're in good shape.
Okay, good.
They're in good shape.
Caddyshack's one of my final 4 picks for sure.
Yeah, there's only one that we're going to have to break the tie on, so.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's good. Or not, depending on if you need to talk about it a lot or not. It just depends.
We'll talk about it regardless.
Yeah, exactly. Talking about sports movies is pretty special, that's for sure.
And we're going to have Ian Malone out there, so I think it's, we're going to have another age bracket, if you will. So I think the conversation is going to get a little spicy today.
Ooh, I like it. So make sure you tune into the Afternoon Underdogs from 4 to 6 p.m. right here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
So HBO and all these Showtime, all these, they have like family. They got, all these different HBOs. Why not have an HBO Sports, just all sports movies? Like that would be something that they could potentially do,
or
right?
You just go to the HBO app and you could just watch all the sports
and you just change your search criteria to sports.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of good ones on there, though.
Yeah, there is.
Real Sports with Brian Gumble. Remember that?
Oh, that's a good
That was on HBO, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's still on there, too. You can go back and watch the old episodes. You know what else, though? You remember you were talking about the 30 for 30 ESPN with the American Gladiator?
Yeah, it was on last night. Yeah, on
There's
ESPN.
Another one, though, and I don't think it's the same because it would say 30 for 30 on Netflix.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's and I actually watched like the first episode and a half today of that. Very interesting, and it just makes me even more interested to go watch the ESPN 30 for 30 there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I flipped it on I watched it last night and got to the part where Viper. They were saying Viper wears a diaper, and so man, like he was all about that, man. He had so much rage.
That's what steroids will do to you. They're loading them up, make sure they were pissed. Taking off the little Jimmy and all them inside the ball game. Man, I just can't believe the injuries they sustained.
I can't either.
Didn't even realize that when I was watching it.
Yeah.
But now you look back, you're like, God, there's no way in hell I'd do that.
Yeah, for real.
But what about the producer though, man? I mean, spent 6 years in Los Angeles, kept saying no, no, you know, and finally he got that breakthrough. But man, the sacrifice. I mean, like he lost his family, and dude, he lost everything just to get that show, you know, rocking and rolling.
Yeah,
but man,
it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's worth
and
it.
Stole it idea from the other guy doing the contest at the you know, the Pennsylvania miners, you know, family picnics and stuff like that. took the idea from that and then turned it into and then didn't pay the guys that were on American Gladiators anything. Didn't even give them health insurance.
Wait, not the athletes?
Yeah, the athletes had to pay for their own medical bills.
Yeah,
so basically it was a loss.
yeah. Basically, they were so absorbed in the fame of being such a big time because they were nobodies that maybe some of them played football and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
Jim and I or whatever played football. Yeah,
and it was a way for them to be on this national stage, which turned out to be a global stage. But they didn't even get any money from, if I'm remembering it correctly, they didn't get any money from like action figure sales and merchandise sales, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
They were getting paid like $25,000 a year and just getting their bodies absolutely destroyed, not getting money from merchandise, not getting their health insurance paid for.
The NIL overlords would be ticked.
Yeah, that's like the opposite of NIL.
One of those ladies last night, I don't know if you remember, but when you're watching it, one of those ladies like got hit upside the head, had stitches, but in the backstage, like she had her little 2-month-old baby.
Yeah,
like,
she had just had a baby. Yeah,
yeah, like 2 months.
It was hardcore. You got to watch the one on ESPN.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, like I said, I only watched like the first episode and a half, and then just kind of tuned out a little bit. But man, yeah, definitely. I want to watch both of them though to kind of
see what the storylines that they're talking about. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, poof.
Things have changed,
and with them coming out so close together, because it's not even been a full month that the one on ESPN's come out, and then this one just dropped today. So it's like they did they interview the athletes in the ESPN one?
Yes, but only certain ones. There was a bunch of them that just pretty much said, screw, what was his name, Johnny?
Lautner or what? Or
the head guy. Yeah. They pretty much just said, I hate this guy. I would never do anything for him. So there was only like maybe 6 or 8 of them that actually participated in the interviews and stuff.
This one had about the same amount because I guess they whittled it down to 6 and then started adding a little bit more. But that's what's kind of wild to me is they were dealing seemingly, without me digging into this, with 2 different documentary crews. You know what I mean? And so what was the angle that they wanted to go with?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Our generation was hardcore, Ryan.
Yeah.
It was hardcore. I mean, I don't know if that's our generation. I mean, we grew up watching that stuff.
Yeah. We lived through this huge paradigm shift of, you know, the 90s and the early 2000s, and now it's just completely done a 180 and everybody's so sensitive about everything.
Yeah, because in the 90s, I don't mean to flip the football, but in the 90s on the kickoffs, man, like, I mean, it was gung-ho. Like, you could spear, you could do whatever you wanted.
Well, and a lot of the times, that was the only time people that were on the teams were getting on the field. Mm-hmm. So you give me my chance to hit, that's my chance. I'm going to go as hard as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And then, you know, brain function is important for the rest of your life. So they kind of mix some things up and change some rules. But who said something about the LSU air-conditioned helmets? Didn't somebody? You said something about that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like so apparently they've got like batteries in there that last for 5 hours. So they'll last for the entire practice or the entire game. But my question is, if you do get targeted or whatever, you know, helmet to contact, and that thing starts malfunctioning, and it's gonna have sweat in it and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know the functioning of it and all of that.
You would think
stuff,
that they did some serious testing on that.
There were teenagers huffing Freon at some point, and I mean, I'd hate for it to be huffing Freon in a helmet.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because something's got to make it cold, right?
I mean, you know, kind of back to the research, you would have thought that the people in that submersible would have, you know, done a little bit more research with all of that.
Yeah, you know, regulation, safety, it's
whatever. It's
overrated.
all out the window.
That's what they would have done in the 90s, Jay. They just brought it to the 2020s.
We got AC guys coming in tomorrow, so we can ask that AC question.
Perfect.
In the morning. Yeah, it's perfect.
Somebody on the sideline at LSU with a Freon, and more Freon, more. Because you got to run out of Freon quick in that helmet.
That's right.
They're not even going to go out there for water breaks.
Yeah, they're just giving
like,
Freon.
You need some air conditioning in that helmet, buddy?
That's some crazy stuff. The AC helmets.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
So what do you do on the sideline? Do you leave your helmet on or do you take it off?
That is true.
I guess it depends on the time of the year, right?
Yeah.
It's hot outside, you're wearing
I guess in
Everyone's going to look like they're ready to get in the game.
Yeah.
There's got to be a slide dial on your helmet that's like, you know, adjust the temperature.
Yeah, and do you leave it on stay, or is it on auto, or you turn the fan on the whole time, or is it once it gets cool, does the thermostat turn it off? You're good to go. I don't know how it all works. So many questions about the LSU air conditioning. definition. I was going to talk a little bit about golf, but we're running pretty close to our Keith Fleming break. So because there was a couple things that came out with LIV. Real quick, I'll talk about that. There was a pretty good. Some of the agreement had come out the other day on LIV, and apparently it only took Monahan 10 minutes to trust Al Rumayyan, the guy from the PIF, kind of the head dude there. He's who's said to be the key part of the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's network. I'm just spitting words out. Yeah. But to summarize this whole thing, they got the article on there, but the biggest takeaways from seeing part of the agreement, there will be a pathway back to the PGA Tour for those who joined LIV, were fined and suspended through a fair and objective process. The parties will use their best efforts to secure official world golf ranking points for LIV Golf. The future of LIV Golf is still uncertain. The new company will undertake a full and objective empirical data-driven evaluation of LIV and its prospects and potentials. LIV Golf won't be allowed to recruit PGA Tour players until 2024. So this tells me that LIV is here and is going to be under this umbrella.
LIV is living.
LIV is living.
That excites Jay so much, I can tell.
I know.
Me and you are excited though, right?
Oh yeah. I can't wait to talk to Hef in studio tomorrow. And then also, the legal battle is officially over. The litigation was dropped with prejudice, which means it cannot be picked up if this all goes south. It appears the PGA Tour will retain control of the new company. PIF will become a huge sponsor of men's professional golf. So,
like $2 to $3 billion, I think.
That's
probably a low number, huh?
Just unlimited resources. It seems
chump
like
change to LIV.
Yeah, absolutely. Or to the PIF guys, yeah. But when we get back, it's that time. It's Wednesday, so that means we'll be joined by Keith Fleming. He's a writer for Fantasy Six Pack, director for daily fantasy sports content for Fantasy and Frames, and host of Two Off the Tee. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents The Blast at Bay Point. Listen to Win Your Tee Time at the legendary Bay Point Golf Club in beautiful Panama City Beach.
You ready to play some high-low?
I'm going to try.
Listen weekdays at 8:40, 12:40, and 5:40 to play high-low for a chance to win 18 holes at Bay Point Golf Club.
I tell you what, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to love it.
Listen to Win the Blast at Bay Point from ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. Sunny the remainder of the day with a wind coming out of the west-southwest at 15 miles per hour and 91. Tonight, look for a light breeze and clear skies with a temperature near 80. Tomorrow, a high around 92 and mostly sunny. Friday, hot with a high of 91 and mostly sunshine. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, WVOQ Port St. Joe.
You gotta fight! ESPN Northwest Florida.
Bestway Portable Buildings has been your portable building specialist since 1989. Before you invest your hard-earned money someplace else, owner Jason Mulder invites you to stop by Bestway and get a quote on just about any size building. And whether you buy with Bestway or not, it's worth the trip just to meet Bestway Buddy. Say hello, buddy. Good boy. Bestway Portable Buildings, just north of Hartz Marine on 231, and online at bestwayportablebuildings.com. The best in portable, period. Tell them Buddy sent ya.
The locals love him.
You're gonna love this. You are my favorite. It's my favorite.
Everybody's favorite. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
Good afternoon. You are listening to The Inside Drive, live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. As always, it is Wednesday, so that means we are joined by Keith Fleming. He is a writer for Fantasy Six Pack, director for daily fantasy sports content for Fantasy and Frames, as well as host of Two Off the Tee. Keith, how are you doing this morning? Or this afternoon, I should say.
You nailed it, buddy.
I did. I did it. I did it slower. I did it slower that time. Trying to feel the afternoon delight.
There you go. What's up, Keith? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing? I've been pondering a lot of things this week, Jay, because I was so impressed that you broke out that word. What was that, Monday? Maybe we should have a new segment, Jay Ponders.
Yeah, no, yesterday he brought the heat with the actively pondering.
I did.
You know, you got Alan with actively lazy, and you got Jay with actively pondering.
Keith, do not get mad at me, man, but I divorced the Falcons the other day.
Oh, did you hear that on the air? He read the divorce decree and everything.
Yep.
Why, can I ask why? Because, I mean, it's not like things have been good ever. So what pushed you over the edge?
Well, just the Arthur Blank's just not doing the right things, man. And, the Bijan Robinson thing kind of with you. I'm glad you're going to stay with him, man, but I had to divorce him, man. I did. So I'm
an addict at this point. I keep coming back for more, even though bad things in my life happen when I root for the Falcons. But I can't let them go. It's a love-hate thing.
Okay.
And I think my dad said it best that, he told me this when I was young, and I honestly did not realize it until after we blew that Super Bowl. But he always said that you can like the Falcons. You can root for them. Keith, I've been a fan my entire life. But if you love them, they're going to break your heart, and I don't think there's any better, summation of what it is to be a Falcons fan than that right there.
I'm trying to think of another moment in another professional football team's, I'm sure there is, that was as heartbreaking as what happened in the Super Bowl. And that, I think, and I'm not trying to twist the screwdriver or anything, but it just kind of made me think, is there another, maybe the Bills losing four straight Super Bowls in a row?
No, it's a level all by itself. And the worst part is, I think if you ask, I knew deep down we were going to blow that game the minute they cut it to 16. And my dad said the same thing. I asked one of my best friends who's been a Falcons fan forever. We knew, because that is what being a Falcons fan is you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're waiting for bad things to happen. And what's insane is just since the Super Bowl, I think we've blown 8 double-digit fourth-quarter leads since the Super Bowl. So that's just, it is what the Falcons are. But I am hopeful this year, just for nothing else. The schedule is so easy. And I do believe in Arthur Smith, because the fact that we won 14 games the last 2 years, our roster was trash. It was really bad. And he somehow managed to get us to go 7-10 each year. So I think with an easier schedule this year, I'm trying to talk myself into maybe Ritter can be kind of like a Dak Prescott type guy. You draft a little later in the draft. He was a winner in college, all that. And maybe good things happen. But, this is my reasoning part of being an Atlanta Falcons fan, right? There's always that hope.
Through sickness and wealth, man.
September. Yeah, talk to me in October, November, and then we'll see if my tone's changed a little bit.
Isn't that part of the addiction cycle, too? Reasoning in your head and explaining to yourself why it's a good thing to keep doing it, and then you go back, and then you realize, you're top of the cycle. So, yeah, it's part of that cycle of addiction. At least it's addition to a football team.
At least it's the good part of it, right? Right now.
It's the hope. It's the hope. Okay, maybe this will get better. If I keep shooting heroin, eventually I'll be okay. No, sometimes shooting heroin works, but anyway, so you said you've been actively pondering Jay. So what have you been pondering, Keith?
I saw the billboard today that somebody put up, and I cannot agree more. I think it's the dumbest rule in golf. Why do you not get relief from a divot in the middle of the fairway? You can hit a golf ball literally mock right, mock left, land on a cart path, get behind a tent, all these different things that you get free relief from. But if you hit it in the dead center of the fairway and you're in a divot, you do not get relief. I think it is the dumbest rule in golf.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, Keith. It's like Ben Hogan said to his caddy in his practice rounds when he was playing golf, and I heard this, is that Ben Hogan, when he made that divot on Wednesday, he told his caddy, he said, make sure that you replace that divot and you make sure that you make it perfect because I'm going to be here tomorrow. I mean, that's how perfect he was, in the game. But
that's great for pros, Jay, but we're talking about me at my local country club where I got a bunch of drunk morons out there that are definitely not filling their divots, and if they do, they're not filling it correctly. So I've never understood that rule. I just think it's, they've done a good job of changing, in my opinion, some of the dumb rules. Like once you address a golf ball, right, if the wind picks up and it moves the ball away, remember, it used to be penalized for that. You're no longer, that's no longer the case. You can ground your club in the hazard. Like some of the things that I thought were, quite frankly, dumb, they've changed, but I just don't understand why you would be penalized for hitting the dead center of the fairway and you're in a divot to where, again, a guy could hit it 40 yards right onto a cart path and he's going to get a free drop.
Yeah. So you're more talking on like the recreational amateur level of golf.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because if you were talking about like the professional golf, I was going to wholeheartedly disagree. Because hitting that ball first is you should make that happen for sure.
I agree.
But yeah, from a recreational standpoint, yeah. I mean, and clubs, if you got your handicap committee together, you could do a model local rule potentially. I think that wouldn't supersede a rule of golf, so I think you could potentially do that. But yeah, I mean, and that's an interesting topic too, because depending on the type of grass, down here in Florida, we're all Bermuda grass, and the divot basically explodes, and there's no divot you can replace. You just got to put it with sand or divot mix or whatever, which sometimes can be more difficult. But then, like northern grasses with bent and bent bluegrass, rye, fescue,
you replace
whatever.
those.
Yeah, because you're hitting those beaver tails. If you hit down through it, you can replace that divot. And
not with the people I'm playing with, Ryan. There is no clean divots. I can promise you that. My dad and Ricky, they're not hitting clean divots.
Yeah, I mean local rule.
Sorry for calling them both out, but I mean, let's just be real here. So.
Yeah. Hey. Fix your divots, replace your ball marks, rake your bunkers, and fill your divots, please.
And it is by far. I've been a part of that club up there for years, and it's a problem. It's a big problem, and I don't
that divots, right?
Yeah, it's a big problem. I don't see it anywhere else other than there, man. I don't know what the I mean, they've even offered. They've even offered free drinks in the bar afterwards if you go out and replace your divots and ball marks. I mean, like, that's how bad it is.
At some of the private clubs I worked at, we'd do a divot filling party where we'd hook up a couple kegs to the back of some golf carts, and we'd just get 20, 30 members, and they just go hole by hole by hole, but we'd feed them beer the whole time, and it was a great way to get the golf course.
Brilliant.
We did it. I think that we did it once a quarter at one of the clubs I was at, and it made a big difference.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
The grass has to, the sand allows something for the grass to grow back through. If you've got clubs that are good financially, you can do divot mix, which is like 20 times more expensive than regular sand, but it's got some peat moss and some seed and some other stuff in it that encourage it to grow back quickly. And then if you're at a club that you actually can replace the divot, 3 or 4 days and that grass is back to normal.
Yeah.
So it's important. Didn't know we were going to be talking about divots, but I love it because it's good golf etiquette. Keith, before we jump into your stuff, I want to ask you about this particular story. I'm going to ask you a question because you're such a big Eric Cole guy, and I'm sure you saw. I think you might have even shared it with us.
I was on. Yeah, I sent it to you.
But yeah, and David, I don't know if you had heard or saw this, but after Eric Cole's made almost $4 million on tour this year, and he was playing. He's not in the field for the Rocket Mortgage Classic this week, which marks the first time in 12 weeks that he hasn't played on the PGA Tour. So how is he spending his weekend? He's playing in the I forget the name of the particular tournament, but it's a Pittsburgh businessman. His name is Frank B. Feuer Jr., and they have a 40-player tournament. It's a little invitational. First prize though is I want to say $20,000.
It's a Cutlass.
Yep.
It's a Cutlass, yeah, a Calcutta. This isn't a Calcutta, but that's what Amanda said, right?
Yeah.
Cutlass instead of Calcutta. But yeah, so he's competing for a $20,000 prize. He's already made $2.8 million on tour this year. And I think I don't know if it's over or not, but he ended up, he was -8 and everybody else was even par or worse. But what do you think about that? I'm sure it's a tournament he's played in for a long time, but what do you think about a active, high-level playing PGA Tour guy playing in a little fun, money event at over there in Pittsburgh at the Pittsburgh Field Club, which is a good course?
So normally I'm not crazy about it because as somebody that used to play in like the Georgia Open, it was never fun when I'm playing against a guy that is a true professional. Like, some of these guys have even played like on the Corn Ferry Tour and stuff, and I'm going, why am I wasting my time playing these dudes? Like, you play for a living, I kind of play for fun. But from what I understand, he's played in it forever. He had already agreed to play in it, and I think obviously it brought a lot of attention and stuff to the event with the year that he's had, and I think it's pretty cool that he did it. And I've said all year, Eric Cole is my guy. For y'all that don't know, not only is he having an incredible season, but I mean, this guy was caddying for Sam Stevens in some events just a few years ago. He was trying to make it as a PGA professional in between different tours. I mean, he has truly done the grind to make it big on the PGA Tour. So, in my eyes, he can do whatever he wants. And it made me laugh, though, that this guy's grinding for $20,000 when he's made basically $4.5 million in the last 3 months because he really started playing well into February, early March. So, to me, that shows that competitiveness in him, which is one of the reasons I love playing him week in and week out. He never gives up in a tournament or an event, and got a lot of talent. I expect big things from Eric Cole moving forward. He's just got a great golf game.
Yeah, it's fun. He's kind of emerged this year, and it's kind of fun to be along the ride with you, so to speak, on his kind of emerging out of nowhere. But yeah, and I think you had one more pondering thought out there.
I did. We played, I was on vacation last week in St. Simons. We had a scramble, and I'm sure you guys are aware of this. Now, it was extremely wet conditions. It was one of those deals where the golf ball, I mean, you know how it is anywhere when you're near sea level. The ball doesn't really release like it does up in Atlanta or anything, but when it's wet, I mean, you're talking about the ball's going nowhere. It was like 30-mile-an-hour winds. We actually had two pretty good golfers in our foursome. We shot 8 under, and I said when we got done that there was a chance there could be like a 9-10 under. And then sure enough, there's a 12, which before I judged it, I was like, okay, let me look at the scorecard. They had 2 eagles. One of them was on a par 5. Again, we had probably the 2 longest guys out there off the tee. It was like 30 miles an hour into the wind. We hit driver 3-wood and had like almost 115 yards into it. And they supposedly eagled that hole and another one. 3 of the golfers I know for a fact they couldn't hit a golf ball 100 yards if their life depended on it, and they are known pencil shavers, I guess is what we would call. And they did have one female who's a good player. She's like a 12-15 handicap, but I just find it hard to believe that they shot 12 under in those conditions. And I've always wondered, like, what kind of person it takes to want to just basically make up a score at a scramble to win. I know you guys see a lot of that in what, you do for a living.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And 12 under, for our stuff around. Now, there's a lot of factors, too, that go into this. Was there mulligans? Do you have a forward tee?
There was no mulligans, yep.
This was just straight up?
It was pretty legit, yeah.
Where was it? Was this Sapelo Hammock?
It was Jekyll Island.
Okay, I got you. Oleander, Pine Lakes? But
it was Pine Lakes.
Pine Lakes, gotcha. Yeah, I know. I see a lot of it, man. I just don't understand it. I really don't. 3-man scrambles, I think, are starting to become more of a trending thing that I'm seeing in the golf.
So you play the 6'em?
Yep. And
I love that. I do too.
Yeah, and it's I mean, I know everybody's out there to have fun, but there is a competition. There's a team. The 4-man scrambles is awesome. It's a team event, and you go play good, and then like you said, you get pencil whipped, and it's like, man, like that's not cool. So, anyways.
Yeah, it's one of the, and you never really know. I mean, because you get, it's all about putting in those scrambles, and you get hot on the greens, and balls just start dropping. It's momentum driven. What do you got,
This
David?
one you knew, though, Ryan, because I know the golf.
Oh, God, yeah, there you go. So, yeah.
So we just got a call in from Richard, and he needs some advice from the golf guys here, all right? So he's at a par 3 that's over water. His first 2 shots go in the water. His third shot goes in. He holes out. So what does he tell his friends? Is that a hole-in-one or is that a double bogey with a hole-in-one? How would you guys explain to your friends if you ran into a situation like that?
I would explain it just like you just explained it, because it's not a hole-in-one, unfortunately.
No.
But it's a pretty awesome feat nonetheless. You see that happen a lot with pars, and somebody hits in the water on the first one, and they'll knock the next one. Yeah, Freddie Couples. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't say it was a hole-in-one, but you can say you hold out your third attempt, so to speak. So
that's a good one.
That's how I would say that, because you can't take away from the real hole-in-one.
No, it's
for sure.
Or it could turn into the Fish story where it starts as a double, and in 5 years he made a hole-in-one and won $10,000 in cash, and it keeps building.
That's right.
I'm interested in what course this happened at. So Richard, if you're still listening, text me over at 850-215-6290 and let me know where it was at.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, maybe we'll have a hole-in-one on 2 or 7 today during that tournament. Somebody will win a beautiful Chevy truck or a Mercedes little, I don't know what you call it. It's not an SUV, but it's like a crossover kind of thing.
Yeah,
but anyway, Hey, Keith, we got about 3 minutes if you kind of want to jump into it, and then when we come back from the break, you can really get into your picks and all that good stuff. Sorry for the sidetracking there in the first little
Why are you
bit.
sorry? We are a non-elevated event, and I love shooting the breeze with you guys. So, like I said, this week, sadly, it's been the kind of one downside to the PGA Tour this year. You have your elevated, non-elevated events. It just makes them seem less important because there's not as many big names. And so, obviously, people like me, I'm going to watch every hole no matter what. But even I will admit, it does kind of make it seem like a second-class, second-level event. Max Homa is the only top 10 player in the field. 8 of the top 30 players total are in the field, so that's not a great number. You got past champions, Nate Lashley, Cam Davis, Tony Finau. Bryson DeChambeau is the other winner. Obviously, he can't play because of the LIV deal. Other more notable names, and there are some big ones in here: Colin Morikawa, Sungjae Im, Hideki, JT, Keegan Bradley, and my man Ricky Fowler. The Rocket Mortgage has been held at the Detroit Golf Club for 4 years. This is the 5th one. So far, we've had 2 long shots win the event and 2 heavy favorites. So Finau and DeChambeau, I believe, were both less than 10-1 when they won. Lashley and Davis, 100+ 1 odds. So there is potential here to have a really big week if you're somebody that likes to actually gamble and not do the DFS on the events. Real quickly, just about the venue, 7,300 yards, plays kind of on the shorter side. We've had all kinds of different leaderboards in past years. Last year, the top 4 at the end of the event were all in the top 20 in driving distance in the field. You had the 15 top finishers in 2022. Only 2 were outside the top 30 in driving distance for the week. So that seems like a theme. There's not a lot of water. There's not a lot of damage on this or trouble on this course. It's tree lined. It's got wider fairways. Kind of a positional test, but due to the non-penal rough, lack of hazards, and accessible greens, I think it's going to be a bomb and gouge fest where these guys are going to get as far as they can. But even despite that, I think it is a second shot course and more of a course about putting and chipping. I'm looking for elite putters this week, especially if I'm looking between 2 guys, because that has been the one consistent stat. And the guys that have succeeded at this venue over those 4 years, the names at the top of the board are all good putters, not only for the event, but for the year in general. And history has shown that this course is not the one where guys that are struggling putting kind of find their flat stick, which is not good for guys like JT, Colin Morikawa, etc. But I'm still going to go with one of those guys anyway this week. Course comps. You got any Donald Ross course, TPC Twin Cities, TPC Deer Run, River Highlands, Craig Ranch. I'm looking at any venue where the score was relatively low in past years, and then the top 10 guys for comp history: Sungjae Im, Tony Finau, Cam Davis, Tom Kim, Max Homa, Harris English withdrew, so make sure you don't have them on your betting or DK lineup, Mark Hubbard, Justin Thomas, CT Pan, and Alex Noren. Do you want me to get into the key stats, or are we about to go to break?
Yeah, we definitely got to jump on a quick break here, and then we'll come right back into that. But yeah, this golf course, your typical, back-to-back holes, not I would call it a very traditional like golf course. Obviously, a little bit of teeth with the greens with Donald Ross there. But yeah, we are joined by Keith Fleming on the line, as we are every Wednesday. He is a writer for Fantasy Six Pack, director for daily fantasy sports content for Fantasy and Frames, as well as host of Two Off the Tee. We'll be right back with more Keith Fleming.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The afternoon underdogs.
One thing that bothers me with time wasting is these guys will throw X amount of pitches in the bullpen. I understand if you got a guy up late, but generally speaking, those guys have been warming up. And then they bring them out there and they throw way too many warm-ups.
Yeah, what's it, like 8 to 10?
Something like that. It just takes too long.
Oh, yeah, I think
4 to 6 weekdays. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. Sunny the remainder of the day with a wind coming out of the west-southwest at 15 miles per hour and 91. Tonight, look for a light breeze and clear skies with a temperature near 80. Tomorrow, a high around 92 and mostly sunny. Friday, hot with a high of 91 and mostly sunshine. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code STRONG for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code STRONG for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code STRONG.
You know the break room for the best pool tables in Bay County. But did you know they now serve delicious food? Check out the break room's daily lunch and dinner specials like spaghetti and meatballs, meatloaf with mashed potatoes, air-fried chicken, and more. Plus the best burgers, hot dogs, and you gotta try the Sammy of the day. The break room on Panama City Beach at the corner of Joan Avenue and North Lagoon. For more information, check them out on Facebook.
Chef Ross here. We're open daily at 11 at the break room.
We're starting fresh.
Fresh new start. Locally sourced, Farm to Radio. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is live and local. From the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. On ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. As always, on Wednesdays, joined by our daily fantasy sports and betting content expert, Keith Fleming. He's a writer for Fantasy Six Pack, director for daily fantasy sports content for Fantasy and Frames, and host of Two Off the Tee with his good friend Alan Sandage. That was fast, and I nailed it there.
You nailed
Keith.
It, Ron.
You're on fire, bro.
Just Scotty is on fire.
That's right.
What movie is that from, Jay?
I don't know.
Euro Trip.
Oh, there you go. I hadn't seen that one.
Classic.
In a while. That is a classic.
That's a good one, too.
Yeah.
They just don't make movies like that. But anyway, Keith, hone right in there on those key stats. We're talking about the Rocket Mortgage Classic up there at Detroit Golf Club and some of the key stats for this particular tournament coming up.
Yeah, unfortunately, in the last couple of weeks, we've been flying blind because they've been at venues. We've had several venues where we didn't have data, and you guys know that, there's a lot in the data. You can see what kind of guys have had success at certain venues, and that can give you a leg up when you're doing, whether it be DK lineups or your betting board. So we talked about the strokes gained off the tee, driving distance, how many guys had success last year that were bombers, so you need to pay attention to that. Strokes gained putting on Poa annua greens. I did just the last 10 events, but if you want to look for the entire season, that's okay too. I want guys, though, that are not just putting well recently. I want guys that are putting well, for the year. Birdies are better gained, par 5 and par 4 scoring. Those are every week on my list, especially in events where I think the score is going to be low like it will this week. Strokes gained approach, because I think this is kind of a second shot course. Most Donald Ross courses are. And then strokes gained total on easy courses. I've started each week in my article on Fantasy Six Pack and then sharing this with you guys. Like the top 10, I'll go and do the research for you. Like, for instance, in driving distance in the field this week, these are 10 names that, with what we saw last year, if you have a feeling about any of these guys, there's a good chance they're going to succeed again because distance was such a key factor last year. Byung-Hun An, who's 8,200. Joseph Bramlett, who's 7,600. Vincent Norman, 6,900. Will Gordon, 7,100. Jimmy Walker, 6,600. Ludwig Aberg, I hope I pronounced that right, 8,700. Sam Stevens, 7,300. Kevin Yu, 7,000. Garrick Higo, 7,200. S.H. Kim, 7,100, and he is not on the list because he has not played enough events, but Jay has mentioned Gordon Sargent. He is 7,500 this week. He hits it as far as any guy on the planet. This could be his breakout week on the tour, so pay attention to him. The next group is the top 10 in strokes gained approach, but they also rank above average in the field from 75 to 150 yards into the greens. The reason for this is roughly 50 to 55% of the shots this week are going to come from 75 to 150 yards for their shots in for greens in regulation. You got Colin Morikawa, Tony Finau, Max Homa. They're all in the 10,000 range. Tom Kim and Hideki, who are both in the high 9,000 range. And then you have some value guys in this list. Christian Buzenhout, 7,700. Nate Lashley, who won this event, is 7,300. Davis Riley at 7,800. And I'm going to butcher this one. Satoshi Kadera.
Sounds good to me.
6,300. He has not played very many events this year, but he's an interesting guy. And then Tom Hoge, 8,400. And then finally, above average in all these categories. So I think this is a list to where if you're really looking, I like all of these guys. They're above average in the field in strokes gained approach, driving distance, par 5 scoring, par 4 scoring, and comp course history. So these are guys that just across the board, their metrics are good for this venue. Tony Finau, Max Homa, again, both in that 10,000 range, as well as Justin Thomas. Taylor Moore is at 7,900. Keegan Bradley, who won last week, at 9,200. Byung-Hun An, who we talked about, 8,200. Austin Eckroth, 8,000. Cam Davis, 9,300. Alex Smalley, 8,600. And then again, Harris English, who withdrew, so make sure you do not have him on your betting boards or DK lineups. Official DK lineup this week. I am going to anchor it with Ricky Fowler, 10,400. I really think this is the week, guys. I think he's going to win this week. Last year, if you remember, Tony Finau was in a very similar position. He was playing great, constantly right there, couldn't ever seem to get that win. I think Fowler is going to get it done this week. He's been in the mix in every tournament over the last month. He continued to play great last week with that amazing third-round 60 on his way to a 13th place finish. I don't punish him for Sunday because he was stuck with the slow guy, Patrick Cantley. I mean, who could play with that? He's finished inside the top 15 in 8 of his last 9 events. That is just, I don't think people understand how impressive it is to, no matter the venue, just continue to have these top 15 finishes. It's honestly more impressive than a guy that, say, has won and then has 3 missed cuts and maybe a 20th and a 15th place. It's just really incredible. He's playing that consistent, and for good reason. He's top 6 in the field in strokes gained total, strokes gained ball striking, strokes gained short game, strokes gained approach, strokes gained putting, and what I love, he's number 1 in DK scoring because of all the birdies he makes. He's overdue to get a win. I really think this is the week. Obviously, I'm betting him as well at 14-1. Another option in this price range, Keegan Bradley, 9,200. I normally never go for a guy who's coming off a win because rarely do guys win back-to-back tournaments in modern golf. But Bradley's just putting so well this year. He's gained strokes on the greens at 8 of his last 11, 4 straight events. For his career, he loses over half a stroke on the green. So that shows you how well he's been putting, and that's a part of his game he has not been able to rely on for his career. He's gained over 2.8 strokes on the field, on the greens over his last 5 events. When elite ball strikers catch fire with the flat stick, really good things happen. With it being a weak field, I would not be shocked if he has another good putting week that Keegan is contention on Sunday and could possibly be that next guy to win back-to-back events, which, like I said, it rarely happens. The next guy in my official lineup, Justin Thomas, 10,000. I know I spoke about, I need good elite putters. That has not been JT. There's no doubt about that. But I believe it when he said he thought he found something after that first round at the Travelers Championship last week. He opened with an even par 70. After that, he went on to shoot 64, 62, 67, closed the tournament in great fashion, finished 9th. He is 113th in the field in putting, but he gained strokes in all 3 of the rounds to end the Travelers event. So if he could just find his putter, his game is still as good as ever everywhere else. He's in the top 15 in strokes gained total, tee to green, ball striking. He's second in the field in strokes gained around the greens, which will be big for par 5s and obviously scrambling to avoid bogeys. And I just think Thomas is underpriced on DK. And you could even make the argument on betting boards. I believe he's 17-1, which, JT used to be 17-1 in an elevated event with everybody there like a major. I like Anchor in my lineup this week with a very consistent guy in Fowler, who I just think you can pretty much guarantee he's going to finish in the top 15. And then adding Thomas, who obviously is more of a wild card, but he has tremendous upside this week, especially if his putter gets going. And maybe JT is the guy we're talking about, not Ricky, come Monday, that he got that next win and, righted the ship before the final major of the season. Another option in this price range, originally I had Harris English. I shifted to Ludwig Aberg, 8,700. The young Swede, just a world of talent. I think he's one of the next big things in golf. He's played 4 events this year on tour. He's got 3 top 25 finishes in those 4. Obviously, I spoke about he's one of the top 10 guys in the field in driving distance. In June, he's gaining 5 shots total on the field in events and over 6 tee to green. I think he's a huge upside play this week at a fairly low price in a weak field. 8,700, you look at the other guys in that range, talent-wise, he is far superior to everybody in that price. No offense even to the Hideki and Sungjaes, because he can putt as well. Austin Eckright is the next official guy in my lineup, 8K. He's in the middle of just a great run on the PGA Tour. Over the last 5 events, he has not finished worse than 30th. That's good. He's got 3 top 20 finishes in that span. He's made 84 birdies in those last 3 events with at least 1 eagle in each of them. So he's making plenty of birdies and eagles in an event that I think is going to be low scoring. He's 40th in the field in strokes gained putting, so that's the top third. That's not bad, but he's 11th in strokes gained off the tee. Again, we talked about, distance, being able to gain strokes off the tee is huge. And over his last 5 events, he's gaining 2.4 strokes on the field in both of those categories, the bigger one being the putting, because he would be higher than 40th, obviously, if he was averaging for the season 2.4 strokes on the field. But he also is gaining significant strokes across the board in all other major strokes gained categories. I think he's probably my favorite play this week at his price. I think he's a really safe play and a guy that it would not surprise me if he has like a top 10, top 5 finish. Next in the lineup, Brandon Wu, 7,500. A lot of my plays this week, it came down to simply how have they done in tournaments this year that the scoring is low. I'm looking for guys that they've done well in the shootouts, especially if they're not, have such a great resume in the rest of the events this year. Brandon Wu is exactly that kind of person. He plays easy courses well. He makes a lot of birdies. He's 10th in the field in DK scoring, but he's the 34th most expensive player. You guys know by now, I love that stat. A lot of people don't look at it. I think that there's reasoning behind it, right? If somebody is consistently scoring on average more points than the value they're at, that's a good thing, especially at an event where I think, he's going to do well at. He finished 9th at the Canadian Open. That was a shootout. 23rd at the Byron Nelson. That was a shootout. 3rd at the Mexican Open. That was a shootout. So I just think that he is a really interesting play this week. Somebody, I think that if he makes the cut, he's going to score a bunch of points and a bunch of birdies, which is a good thing. Another option in this price range, Christian Buzano, 7,700, real superior ball striker. He was on the list of the top guys in the field in strokes gained approach, as well as in the top half from that 75 to 150-yard number into the greens. He gains a stroke per round on the field on easy courses. And again, he's another one of those guys. He did well at the Charles Schwab, where the scores were low. He did well at the Byron Nelson, where it was a low-scoring event. And what I really like about him is he's putting well recently. And if he can just get off the tee, which is his one issue, he doesn't gain a lot of strokes off the tee, I expect a good finish here from him. The next person in my official lineup, I'm going to go with one of the defending champions. I really like him this week as a long shot to win, as well as looking at his top 5 and top 10 odds, and that's Nate Lashley, 7,300. He won the inaugural Rocket Mortgage Classic at Detroit Golf Club back in 2019 at 25 under par. Me and Alan could not remember on 2 off the tee last night, but he was actually the last guy to get in the field for that event, then went on to win. He talked about how it changed his entire, career because he's obviously maintained his card since then. He's in good recent form. 5 top 40 finishes in his last 7 events. For a guy in the 7,300 range at a weak field, that is a very consistent player. Those include playing well, again, at these easier courses. Canadian Open, Byron Nelson, Mexico Open, top 40 finishes in all those events. He's made 14 or more birdies in 8 of his last 12. He's also scored in that span 70 or more points in 4 of his last 6 events. It is the main reason he's 20th in the field on DK and all the way down at 7,300 on DraftKings pricing. I think Lashley is a very big upside play. Now, don't get me wrong. He is not one of those people that I'm guaranteeing you he's going to make the cut. There's other guys in this range I actually like more if that's what you're looking for. But in an event like this, I am going to take more chances because more than likely a lot of people are going to have basically 2 of the top guys, which you hope you get right. And then how do you do with those other guys? It's going to be key to pick somebody, say, 7,800 or lower that finishes top 10 or even top 5. And this is one of those weeks where, most weeks we're on, we talk about you need all 6 guys to make the cut. This is the kind of tournament where I think you could have 5 guys make the cut. If they all do well, you will still cash and have a chance to do really well in single entry, double up, etc. Entries. Finally, finishing out my lineup, Aaron Baddeley, 6,700. He really let me down. I think you guys remember at the Canadian Open, I was very high on him. He missed the cut. I was pretty disappointed in that. But I'm going to give him another shot this week. He's done well at other low-scoring events this year, including top 40 finishes at, I keep saying these events over and over again, Charles Schwab, Byron Nelson, Mexico Open. Those are 3 of the 4 lowest-scoring events on tour thus far. And what I like about Baddeley is he is one of those guys that he's very elite around the greens. He is 24th in the field in putting, 4th around the greens. And what is why I still believe in him, even after him kind of screwing me last time, is over his last 10 events, he's been gaining strokes tee to green and on approach. And that is something that he really struggled in over the last few years. And it's why it's been kind of surprising that he's kind of had this resurgence out of nowhere this season, is because he has improved in those and he has such a good short game. I think he can do just well enough tee to green this week because of the wide fairways that he's going to feast on the greens, have a really good putting week. I think he's going to make the cut, and I actually like him to have a top 30 finish. The last guy in my other options of the official article this week is Kevin Hughes, $7,000. He's one of the longest guys in the field off the tee. 9th in DK scoring, despite being in the 7,000 price range. Now, he hasn't played a lot of events, but that shows he scores a lot in the ones that he has. He's made the cut in 4 of his 5 events on tour this year, made 19 or more birdies in 3 of 5, so that's big. And he has 6 eagles in 5 events on tour this year, as well as scoring 79.5 or more points in 3 of his 5 starts. That's a lot of points for a guy in the 7K range, so I like him as well. I have a few other names. You want me to run through them real quickly?
Hey, Keith, we're going to try real quick. We do have Travis is on the other line, and we're going to see if we can get 2 people on the line at one time. And he's got a golf question. I don't know if it's for us or for whoever, but we'll see if we can get him on the line.
Technology, let's do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can make this happen. Travis, are you out there?
Can you hear me?
Hey, Keith, are you still there?
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, look at that. We got two people on the line at one time. Good stuff. So I think David was saying, Travis, you had a question? Maybe?
I don't have a question. It's just a couple things. They're real quick, though.
Yeah.
So, for one, I heard somebody there was getting a divorce from the Atlanta Falcons.
Rumor is true.
Yeah.
Happened on Monday.
So, I just was saying, if you want to stay in the NFC South, you can go ahead and hop on the Saints wagon, and we'll accept you.
There you go. You've already got a possible
our
suitor.
friendship will end if that happens. Like, it's done. Over.
And secondly, who in there has, like, the real Southern accent?
Definitely not Ryan. That is certainly Jay from Southwest Georgia.
Me. Yeah, that'd be me. Yeah.
All right, so I just wanted to let y'all know, if y'all look up an interview with Cole Swindell and have him say those same words, I guarantee you he'll sound just like him.
That's what we tell all the ladies, too.
I wish I looked like Cole Swindell, but I don't.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. If he called my phone from an unknown number and told me he was Cole Swindell, I'd believe it.
Do you want me to break out the guitar one day on air? I bet you'll say the other.
That's not Cole Swindell.
That's not Cole Swindell.
Maybe we'll listen to some Heads Carolina, huh?
Yeah, there you go. Tales California.
Wow, you actually knew.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great one,
man.
Yeah. A boy from South Georgia.
I thought T Swift was your favorite country singer.
Well, sometimes.
You're a Swiftie for sure. Well, hey Keith, Travis, we do have a break coming up. Keith, we appreciate you as always. Travis, thanks for calling in, and now we can take two callers at once.
Yes.
We're just moving into the
no problem.
22nd century. I love it. I'm assuming you're not going to go to the Saints, but
no. Thanks for asking, though.
Yeah, hey, that's nice. A possible suitor already since your divorce on Monday.
There you go.
Keith, as always, thank you, and tell everybody where they can go to check out your content.
You can find me on Twitter at Keith Fleming. That's all spelled out, KeithFleming. We have content both at Fantasy and Frames, where I'm the director of DFS content. We'll get into that in the fall. I can't wait to do DraftKings
sitting on
football.
Go for football.
You guys have no idea the bargain place that we're going to be able to provide you guys. But be sure to check out their site. So much amazing stuff on their YouTube channel, as well as Fantasy Six Pack, where each week I have an article. It gives you basically the 10 guys that I go over in written detail. That's at fantasysixpack.net. And me and Alan, who calls into the show all the time, good friend, one of the best people in the world. Me and him have a show, 2 Off the Tee, on Fantasy Six Pack's YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe to that as well. And guys, keep up the great work. And we with Jay's dad calling in today, we got to get my dad on the
yes.
Now
especially now we can get 2 on 1. So there are 2 callers on 1. So yeah, we're definitely gonna make that happen.
Yes, love to hear from Chuck.
Chuck's got some stories. Let's put it that way.
We love stories. We love stories on the Inside Drive. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You guys have a great day, man. Good luck to everybody on their DK and golf bets this weekend.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, Keith, very much for all your insight, as always. We were just joined by Keith Fleming. As he mentioned, you can check him out on all those sites, and I suggest you do, because college football season is right around the corner. When we get back, this last segment, we're going to be picking a little draft. Y'all don't know what it is yet, but there's no inside information on it. So when we get back, we're going to do a little fun draft thing and make some stuff happen. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Carl.
Mustard.
Just a little. Mashed taters.
Tell me what movie we're talking about.
Sling Blade.
Sling Blade, man. You reckon?
Also known as the James Hale story.
Get out to B4 Braves. Have a great meal day. Because that's all what I did. You really screwed my commercials up. Thank you so much.
Weekday mornings 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Young Cycle across from FedEx Mosley Drive in Lynn Haven has a fantastic selection of pre-owned Harleys at great prices. Great prices. Don't buy a Harley until you stop by Young Cycle. Young Cycle, a full-service department is available too, offering motor trike conversions, parts, and accessories. Nothing compares to Harley-Davidson and the low prices on pre-owned Harleys at Young Cycle. Young Cycle, 112 Mosley Drive across from FedEx in Lynn Haven.
If you spend any time at all in your yard, you're going to encounter fire ants.
We know they can ruin a party. That's why we're this area's experts at fire ant elimination.
As your certified top choice professional, we will rid your yard of these unwanted invaders. Brock Pest is so sure they will get rid of fire ants that they offer a 1-year guarantee.
Enjoy your yard fire ant free. We guarantee it. Give us a call for your free consultation.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting yours since 1968.
Chuck was terrible at fishing. He spent many frustrating hours attempting to get results he saw from internet videos, aggravating trial and error fishing trips, and misguided advice from well-intended friends. Chuck is happy now with his newfound success after he visited Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, where we keep fishing fun, simple, and successful. See us soon at Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, located directly off Highway 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach.
Coming in hot.
So hot.
It'll be a hot one. Really hot. God damn.
The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back, Mike Jones. We're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. We're going to do a little something fun here. Obviously, the Bay Point Billfish Open is it kind of kicked off this morning with the golf tournament. I'll be heading back to the golf club here momentarily to help Bill and Gavin score and see who ends up winning the Bay Point golf tournament. But obviously, the tournament starts on Thursday.
Yes,
tomorrow.
Yep.
So there's basically 21 hours till the start of this thing. And what we're going to do, I've sent you guys the link to all the list of the registrants, whatever that is.
Yep.
All the people signed up to fish in the Billfish tournament. And we're going to each pick 3 boats that are fishing. Obviously, there's no way to know who's going to do good or who's not. It's just a complete crapshoot at this point.
It's like Keith said, we have very little data. It's been 12 years. So
yeah, there's no data, and I don't know any. I mean, I know some of these people, but there may even be some celebrities on some of these boats, so who knows what's going to happen out there. But we're going to let you pick first, Jay. We'll go Jay, David, Ryan, and we'll each pick 3 boats, and then I'll figure out how we're going to score this thing once I figure out how the actual tournament is scored.
Okay. So I'm kind of flipping through the boats, and there's pictures of these on the site here.
There is.
I've got to go with one that's got like 4 decks to it. Oh, here's one. Lifeline.
Yeah.
No, you can't pick that one. Daggum, man.
I mean, this thing looks like a skyscraper, man. This thing's like 4 stories high. It looks like you could live in this thing for years.
That is so funny, though, because I was just texting a guy I play softball with, and he's made a ton of great jerseys for our softball teams along the way as well, Brian Bramlett. And so I know he's a big fisherman and all that kind of stuff, so I reached out to him, asked him, just now reached out to him and asked him,
look at him getting inside information.
Well, I was just trying to pick someone I knew.
Yes. Is he on Lifeline?
Yes.
Oh,
and
man.
So I was like, all right, I'm going to make that my first pick. And then there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Attaboy, man.
Yeah. Out of 65 or so teams, I pick Lifeline.
You picked the one that David's going to pick. That is too funny.
All right, well then, Jay, am I picking next or is it on you, Ryan?
Yep, you're next.
I'm going to go with dropping skirts then. How about that?
That's a good one.
I'm looking at the picture of this tiny little boat, and I'm like, hey, but
it might the Billfish might be pulling it, but maybe they'll go drop some skirts.
Hey, you never know. You got to go with an outboard motor boat. I mean, the seas are actually going to be absolutely spectacular for this thing.
Are you sure Tweeter's not on this boat? Tweeter from Varsity Blues.
Yeah, probably. All right, so dropping skirts for David, and then Lifeline for Jay. Let me just add. I'm doing a spreadsheet as we're talking here. Lifeline.
How many are we picking here?
3 each.
3 each. Okay.
All right. So
there's some good names.
I know. Yeah. There's a couple on there that I'm not going to read on the air.
I was a little
all the way down at the bottom. Yeah, maybe in the T's. Yeah, probably gonna skip that one. But yeah, I'm gonna do this. I don't even know if they have a name for their particular boat, but where is it? Do I see it on here? Are they not in it? Oh yeah, I'm gonna go with Kramer Marine and Outdoor for my first.
Okay, there
pick.
you go.
Yeah, it just makes sense. Yeah, so they don't have a fancy boat name, but I'm gonna go with Kramer Marine. All right. We won't do a snake. We'll just go right back to you, Jay. We'll just keep going around the horn because snake traffic is kind of stupid.
I'm in search of this. How about Southern Lady?
Ooh, hey, everybody out there, you hear that? Eligible bachelor, Mr. Jay Henley. He's not looking for a Northern lady. He's looking for a Southern lady, and that is
something sweet and Southern,
like a good glass of sweet tea.
That's it.
All right, so Southern Lady. So Jay's got Lifeline and Southern Lady, and David, who you got for your second pick there?
So many.
There's so many good
names, so many good-looking boats here. I'm gonna have to go for the Glizzy gang, the Glizzy boys, me and the boys. That's the next boat that I'm gonna go with.
Me and the boys. That's another good-looking boat there. Yeah. That one's got tons of decks on it. So me and the boys, dropping skirt, and me and the boys. All right, I'm gonna scroll here real quick, and I think I got one on there that I want to pick, and I'm gonna go with Team Now or Never.
Ooh,
because it's like we talk about. It's like Eminem. You're going to capture the moment, or you're going to let it slip? Is it now or never?
I like it.
Let's go Team Now or Never. That's going to be my second pick on that one. All right, Jay, back to you.
All right, third and final pick. Let's see, kind of cruising through here. What about Raise 'em Up?
Raise 'em Up.
Yeah.
That's a good one, too.
Yeah. I like...
I need a boat just so I can name it.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a tiny little John boat.
Jenny.
Jenny 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Is that what you would name? What would you name a boat if you had one?
That's a good... we're gonna push that one off till tomorrow. So
I don't know. You got like 6 minutes here, and we're down to our final pick.
That is true.
I guess you got to actively ponder that.
Yeah. I can't commit to a name on my boat without really... That's like naming your child.
Mine would be...
All right, Jay's already got one.
Mine would be, I've got 99 problems, but a boat ain't one.
Ooh, how's that? You better have a giant boat to get that to fit on the back.
And a giant bank account, because you're going to be busting out another 1,000 every now and again to keep that boat problem list.
There you go.
Oh, man. Well, I'm going to win this thing anyways, so it really don't matter. And that is going to be the name of the boat that I'm going with next. It don't matter.
It don't matter.
It don't matter. Jay, what was your pick again?
Mine was Raise 'em Up.
Raise 'em Up. Yep. Sorry, I wasn't quick enough on the old keyboard. And then David is It Don't Matter. And then your raise 'em, like raise 'em.
Raise 'em.
Yeah, like
not raise them up. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. Okay, cool. Not that I can't look and figure that out, but all right, man. This is a tough one. It's the last pick here, and man, there's some good-looking ones, that's for sure. Go by names here. All right, I've got one in here. I wish I knew some of the people, in this one.
Yeah.
I will say that Barefoot Drive boat, that's a pretty sweet-looking boat, that is for sure. But I'm going to go with Go-Low. Because, golf, all that stuff, you're trying to go low.
Yeah,
so
I like it.
That. We'll go low. 99 problems, but a bone ain't one. That's good. So we'll see. I'll figure out how to do it, whether it's total weight, certain types of fish. We'll figure it out, but I'll get that going, and we'll have that ready to go for Monday.
Yeah, like total weight, largest fish. Yeah, there's.
We'll figure it out. We'll just see how, and it gives you somebody to root for.
First boat back.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
First boat to break down.
Kind of.
First boat to break down.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah. With the scramble, right? With the Golf Genius, you can do live scoring, and then you can kind of see. It'll be interesting with
there's
this
live scoring.
To see.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's what's gonna be really cool. I mean, there's so much that goes into this. It's exciting, And speaking of that, don't forget the schedule of events really got kicked off this morning with the Bay Point Golf Club tournament that we did for everything. They're updating the website as we speak. I love it. Olivia Quave, she does a fantastic job with all their social media and all that stuff. Finally met the person behind I'll call it behind the glass. David's behind the glass. But, when two people that run two social media accounts that are constantly like doing stuff together and share, and then when you meet the person, it's funny how that is in this day and age.
It is.
It's like, yeah, you're the one behind that. I'm the one. Nice to meet you. Let's keep it going.
They're typically not the same. They don't look like what you envisioned in your head, right? Like typically, like when you,
Yeah, it's like when you call like customer service service, you always try to say, what does it wonder what this person looks like?
Right.
And then if you ever actually meet that person, you're like, yeah, it's not what I thought.
No, exactly. Yeah.
That's for sure. That's why don't go off, when you're looking for your Southern lady, don't just go off the voice, Cole Swindell.
That's it.
Which, I mean, he's got a great point. I mean, we got to do a little back and forth, get you guys to each read some kind of script and see what that sounds like.
That would be.
But again, tonight is when the event really kicks off. Everybody's excited for it. It is buzzing out there at Bay Point. There's so much stuff going on. And all you got to do is come down Magnolia Beach Road. You can find out there's lots of signage for all the various parking lots and whatever it may be. But yeah, just come on out. The Dock Walk Tournament party. It's basically the kickoff for the entire event. Gets started at 4 p.m. tonight. And then Mackenzie Carpenter will grace her presence. There's a Southern lady for you,
There
Jay.
you go.
Yeah, she graces our presence on the stage right there. That huge Roberts and Roberts stage right there. That stage should just be there all the time.
It should
I think.
be, yeah.
That would be cool. She kicks off at 7:30, and then there's 2 more people singing tonight as well. And I do not know who they are. People have asked me who they are. It's like, I don't know who they are, because then if they would have told me, we may or may not be on the radio.
You got to be there.
Yeah, got to be there. Come out and hang out. Food, drinks, vendors, all sorts of good stuff coming on. It's going to be a great time. And then tomorrow morning, that boat parade to the Gulf gets kicked off at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., flare start. All those boats heading out, and definitely rooting for Kramer Marine, Now or Never, Go Low. And I know, Jay, you'll be rooting for Lifeline, Southern Lady, and Raise 'em Up. And then David Hayes behind the glass, dropping skirt, me and the boys, and It Don't Matter. So maybe one of those will be catching that state record Blue Marlin. And Jay, we're not going to be able to say this too many more shows. What happens if somebody catches that state record Blue Marlin?
$2.5 million.
I was talking to Justin Phelps this morning, and I was like, yeah, you guys could win 2.5. I was like, how exciting to go out there and have an opportunity. You're just kind of chilling, waiting, and then that line gets hit. You don't know what's on the other side of it. It could have to be over 1,046 pounds, but
no kidding.
They're out there. That's for sure.
It's almost like winning the lottery. It's like, man, you got to get to that lottery store like immediately. Yeah. Like, you coming back in. Let's get this weigh-in going right now.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a journey back in, the anticipation that it may be, and all that good stuff. But again, and the weigh-ins will start Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. Again, Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. All the tournament awards get kicked off on Sunday. But the concerts tonight, tomorrow night, and Friday night, all starting at 7:30. Open to the public. You just got to pay for parking. Come and hang out, have a good time, drink some drinks. Check out these awesome boats. That's what I can't wait to see. Obviously, we have some really beautiful yachts and stuff like that in that marina. But to see all these boats now parked, getting ready to go out, it's going to be cool tonight on the dock walk.
Absolutely.
I know the kids are excited for sure. So we'll have a good time. Dave, about 30 seconds left to go? Mm-hmm. Look at me. I'm right on cue.
You are.
You're listening to Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, the afternoon underdogs are coming up tonight from where, Jay?
4 to 6, Dave and Buster's.
Dave and Buster's. Half-price cocktails during happy hour, half-price games all night long. Make sure you tune in to the afternoon underdogs. We appreciate you listening. Had some great calls today, and we'll be back in studio tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.
ESPN Northwest Florida has the real local fishing report. Hi, this is Tim from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle.